A brief history of the Ewe land. An introduction to the history, culture, and customs of the Ewe people. There are hundreds of ethnic groups in Africa, and most have their own languages, tradition, and cultures. This short presentation will focus on the Ewe people and their incredible story. The history of the Ewe people. Prior to the transatlantic slave trade and colonization, Ewe land stretched from Accra to Lagos, Nigeria, and was called the Kingdom of Judea. During the trade and colonization, it was called the Slave Coast, but to the people, it was Ewenyiba, meaning Ewe land. Some archaeologists' evidence suggests that they can be traced back to the 13th century to Oyo, Nigeria. Other oral and archaeological tradition suggests that a series of migrations started in the 11th century and that the present Ewe settled in Ghana in the early 17th century. It is also said that the Ewe people might have spent time in Israel, Egypt, Southern Sudan, and Ethiopia. When the British, Belgian, French, German, Portuguese colonies created borders in the 19th century, the Ewe people were divided. The Ewe speaking of West Africa inhabits the areas between the River Volta in the modern Ghana and the River Mono on the western border of the ancient Kingdom of Benin. This has meant that the Ewe people, like many ethnic groups in Africa, have developed different dialects amongst themselves and are ruled by different governments. One of their most famous and exciting stories is their escape from Nochie and tyranny of King Agokoli. After the Ewe people were divided, their stories were even used by Ewe tribe to argue that the Ewes are one people with one common language. The division has led to some religious and cultural differences, but the Ewe people are strongly united by their language and especially known for their vibrant and unique tradition and cultures and festivals. The Ewe people also know how to party. It is said that even under King Agokoli's tyranny, they were still recognized for their music and dance. There are many festivals throughout the year, and one of the largest is called Hogbochocho from the Anglos. The Hogbochocho festival is held in the Anglo region on the first Saturday in November. It is known as the Festival of Exodus, which celebrates the escape from King Agokoli. The chiefs dress in their finest clothes, and there is plenty of dancing, drumming, drinks in celebration of their freedom. Over the years, the festival has drawn bigger and bigger crowds and has become a light-hearted celebration and account of the Ewe legend. During the re-enchantment of the escape from Nochie, King Agokoli is portrayed as a bubbly and drunkard fool rather than an evil tyrant. Another fascinating part of Ghanaian Ewe culture is the significance of naming their children. They choose names that signify either the spirituality of the parents or the time and circumstance of the childbirth. The name may also refer to the day of the week that the child is born. However, they are given another name once the child's personality develops. Escape from Nochie. Much has been said about their famous migration story, and the tale is significant for the Ewe people. Legend has it that King Agokoli gave all sorts of difficult tasks to the Ewe people. He ordered them to build the city walls with mud, glass, rocks, and stones, using only their bare hands and feet. It is even said that they were asked to make a rope out of clay. To avoid punishment from the king, they asked him to provide them a sample of the clay rope because they have